Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. From Breitbart News, 15 facts about E. Jean Carroll's allegations against Trump the media doesn't want you to know. She's the individual that is suing President Trump for defamation. She was awarded some money. And those of you that say that he was accused of RAPE, that's not true. Never was true. Never will be true. Let's read the story. This is fascinating stuff. You know, there's eccentric people out there. And then there are some that just have seriousness, I think, have mental issues. Let's read on. E. Jean Carroll's second defamation lawsuit closed on Friday as a New York jury determined that former President Donald Trump owes her $83.3 million for defaming her in 2019. Where the hell did they get the 0.3 from? She was suing for $10 million, by the way, in a jury in Manhattan. However, what has continuously fallen under the radar is the fact there are serious concerns with the woman's entire story. Yet she was awarded tens of millions. Carroll originally came out with her story in 2019, detailing the alleged incident, claiming that Trump sexually assaulted her in a Bergdorf Goodman dressing room in the mid-1990s. Now, my understanding was they just changed the law. I live in New York State, upstate, not New York City, where they extended the civil part of any SEX assaults from 7 or 8 years, whatever it was, to 20 years, just to make it under the deadline, which I still don't think it makes it under the deadline, just to go after President Trump. And her lawyer, after the first lawsuit, went on CNN and said, I helped write the legislation and gave it to the state legislature when they made it 20 years instead of 7. And then they turned around and sued President Trump. They changed the law just for him. Now, I know a couple of assembly members in New York State Assembly from my dealings with politics when I used to be a councilman in the early 2000s. I asked one of them what they thought of it, and I got no response. So that tells you everything you need to know. It's amazing to me. Carroll said Trump followed her in a dressing room at the store, shoved her against the wall, pulled down her tights, and forced his... You get there. You can read the rest of it. You know, or completely, I'm not certain. She vehemently denied the allegations over the years, prompting the defamation suits by Carroll. Trump has denied them, of course. It's just as bad for people to believe it, particularly when there is zero evidence, Trump said. And there is literally zero evidence, besides her testimony. We're still for a dying publication to try to prop itself up by peddling fake news. It's a pandemic. Anyone has information the Democratic Party is working with Mrs. Carroll, New York Magazine, please notify as soon as possible. Now, besides the odd things about the Carroll story and a stunning lack of evidence, she was awarded tens of millions, which Trump supporters say shows just how scary the justice system has become if one is a targeted individual. That's true. Let's look at some of the facts. Number one, Bergdorf Goodman has no surveillance video of the alleged attack, so there is no video evidence, even that any of them are even in the vicinity of the place, let alone inside it. There are zero witnesses to the alleged sexual attack. Do you sound familiar? Sound like the Kavanaugh case? Carroll first came forward conveniently with the allegations while promoting her book, What Do We Need Men For, in 2019, which featured a list of the most hideous men of my life. Yeah, okay. Before we continue, I want to say up front, because I'm sure this website won't like this video or the subject, this does a strong disservice to women who are actually assaulted. This does a huge disservice to women that are truly and honestly sexually assaulted. And they're supposed to be propping up women, the feminists. Things like this do great harm to the cause of women that have been attacked. I want to say that up front. Carroll wasn't able to remember when this attack even occurred. She told her lawyer in 2023, the question, the date has been something I've been constantly trying to pin down. Anybody that's had that really happen to them, they have a pretty good idea when it happened. She has jumped years, originally beginning with 1994, and then moving to 1995, and even floating to 1996, which goes beyond the 20 years. She cannot remember the season in which the alleged attack occurred either. The Donna Karen Blaze address she claims to have worn during the alleged incident was not even available at the time of her claims. Trump attorney Boris Epstein told reporters, she said, this is the dress I wore in 1994. They went back, they checked. The dress wasn't even made in 1994. And that's why the dates move around. This is the 80s, this is the 90s, this is the 2000s. President Trump had consistently stated that he was falsely accused and he has the right to defend himself. Not according to these people. Do you think he's going to get a fair trial in Manhattan? Seriously? Which, what is it, 90+% liberal Democrat, progressive Democrat? It's very much like the OJ case. Those of you that remember, I'm old enough to remember the OJ case. And when they read the verdict live, I was really surprised. Do you think for a minute with that jury in L.A., anything else could have had transpired? She never came forward with these allegations over the years, despite constantly being open about sexuality, posting things that were very sexual in nature on social media, many of which Trump has shared. They included remarks such as, how do you know your unwanted sexual advance is unwanted until you advance it? And sex tip I learned from my dog. When in heat, chase the male around until he collapses in exhaustion and then jump him. Yeah, these are some of her tweets. I should say True Social that Trump posted that were on Twitter, formerly now X. Let's move on. Number 7. She said she was never RAPED. Tell the New York Times podcast, The Daily, every woman gets to choose her word. Every woman gets to choose how she describes it. That is my way of saying it. That is my word. My word is fight. My word is not the victim word. I have not been RAPED. I have something that has not been done to me. I fought. That's the thing. I don't even know what the hell that means. She named her cat Vagina, her dog and her cat with the same name. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in the trial. All of these things, but with her, they could put it in anything. Access Hollywood, Trump told CNN. John Topakina, an attorney for Trump, pointed out in the May 2023 that Carroll's entire story has incredible similarities to a 2012 episode of Law and Order. In that episode titled Theater and Tricks, an individual talks about a RAPE fantasy in Bergman Goodman, the same department store where Carroll claims the incident took place. Role play took place in the dressing room of Burgos while she was trying on lingerie. Howard Bergsten, the character in the episode, said. This is the TV version. According to Carroll, the two were in the lingerie section and Trump allegedly assaulted her in the dressing room, filled with hundreds of people. It's not exactly Donald Trump can just go into a public, even back then, could go into a department store and not be noticed. He had one of the most recognizable names and faces in the world, especially in Manhattan. How was he going to sneak in without being seen? Carroll claimed to be aware of the episode but denied watching it. According to the New York Post, Carroll said the similarities between what she claims happened to her and the show's plot were amazing. An amazing coincidence, Trump lawyers asked. Yes, it's astounding, Carroll replied, ultimately denying her allegation was based on a television show. Of course she would. Oh, gosh. You know, Carroll replied to the reader, I'm not surprised this sort of plot is not seen more often when she was aware of the episode. It's It's incredible to me. Let's move on. Number 10, speaking of shows, Carroll loved Trump's show, The Apprentice. I was a big fan of the show, very impressed by it, Carroll said in the witness stand, adding that she had never seen such a witty competition on TV, and it was about something worthwhile, competing. Let me ask you ladies out there, if you said this happened to you, would you watch that TV show, honestly? Carroll made a joke associating SCX with Bergman Goodman in November 1993 edition of Elle, which was before the alleged attack took place, as Breitbart News detailed. Carroll was responding to a letter from a female reader from the book she wrote, concerned that she was having trouble. But you can read the rest. I don't want to go into why a woman has an orgasms and what you're going to do for it. And I'll pause right here if you want to stop the video and read the rest. Carroll is financially backed by anti-Trump Democrat Reid Hoffman, who has openly admitted to visiting sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Democrat Party activists backed her as well, as Breitbart News detailed. Indeed, one of Carroll's attorneys, Roberta Kaplan, a Democrat Party activist who led the group Time's Up, she left the activist group after it was revealed she was aiding former New York Governor Andy Cuomo and attempting to discredit the Democrats' accusers. It serves as a great irony as Time's Up seeks to defend women for what he claims is discrimination and harassment. Unbelievable. This fact has led to mounting speculation that Kaplan only gets involved in cases that she views as politically expedient. Furthermore, federal district judge Lewis Kaplan, who's overseeing the process and has connections to Carroll's other attorney, Sean Crowley, says she was actually a law clerk for Judge Kaplan and he officiated her wedding, which means they know each other personally. When you ask somebody to officiate your wedding, you know them. That aside, Trump has denied knowing the left-wing activist is the only evidence of any contact with a single picture, with Carroll greeting Trump and his ex-wife Ivana at the event greeting line over 35 years ago. I believe Carroll's husband was there as well. Carroll is yet to provide solid evidence of the alleged encounter and will not use the dress that she claims had DNA on it from the alleged incident. Even Trump publicly said the dress should be part of the case. Furthermore, there are no eyewitnesses to the alleged incident, which supposedly occurred at the popular New York City department store. The lawsuit was only able to proceed after Democrats created the Adult Survivors Act in 2022. She conveniently pursued the suit in November, following the law going into effect, which allowed her to avoid the statute of limitations for the case. Now, do I think that all the assembly members, and I'm including some Republicans in that, knew this was about going after Trump? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say no. Maybe some knew. But it was very convenient that her lawyer was the one that wrote a lot of the law. Now, that's not speculation. I saw the interview with her lawyer on a talk show, I believe CNN, that she said right out that she did. Carroll once said, most people think of RAP as sexy. Well, it's not sexy at all, of course. Donald Jr. also retweeted a list of facts about Carroll, urging others to take a look. This is from Don Jr. It's worth the read. I'm totally shocked the media wouldn't cover any of these details. Yep, and there you have it. And there you have it. It's incredible to me. She was asking for $10 million in damages after she already sued him because basically he was telling the truth. Now he can't say, after this, he'll be appealed, of course. Now he can't say outward publicly, I'm innocent. A person in the United States, in the judicial system, whether it be civil or criminal, in this case civil, cannot say to the media, I am innocent of these allegations. Think about that for a minute. Even you Democrats, think about that. Think about what you're opening up. There are places in the U.S. that are reversed from a Manhattan jury, that are deep, deep red areas where you're going to get a conservative jury no matter what. You've opened up the can of worms now. You've taken the judicial system and you've flushed it down the toilet. The only regress that I can see is the Supreme Court steps in and say this whole thing is just a gigantic cluster and throws everything out. But I wouldn't hold my breath. They only want him because he's running for president again. Let's just cut through it all before we all drown in it. Like, I'll say this again. This whole situation with a civil suit is doing great harm to actual women that have been assaulted. These are supposed to be the people that are feminists that want to protect women. They are doing incredible harm. Because after things like this, anybody that's actually assaulted will be looked on with no belief at all. You're just making it up. They're doing harm, great harm, not just to women, but to the judicial system in general. And when people start losing faith in your judicial system and your government, all hell breaks loose, as we see in the big cities. And until next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.